Welcome back, fierce combatants, to part 2 of the King of Mortal Kombat, where we delve deep into the heart of the Mortal Kombat universe. In this episode, we'll continue to explore the various ports of the legendary Mortal Kombat games, setting them against one another in an epic showdown to crown the King of Portal Kombat. In our previous episode, we ventured into the realms of the Super Nintendo and Game Boy versions. We discovered that the SNES port, at the very least, deserves a spot in your gaming collection, whilst the Game Boy version is best left buried in the darkest depths of Goro's lair. But today, our journey continues as we explore the remaining ports that have graced our homes. We'll begin by diving into the world of Sega ports, starting with Sega's very own handheld marvel, the Game Gear. Before we embark on this adventure, it's important to note a significant absence, that being the ports included in Midway Arcade Treasures and the Arcade Collection. These versions are arcade perfect, running on emulators, and honestly they would always emerge as victors in any comparison. Now let's talk Game Gear. Much like its Game Boy counterpart, we must grant some leniency to this port. After all, it had the monumental task of squeezing the entire arcade cabinet into a tiny cartridge. One immediate improvement over the Game Boy version is the use of colours. The Sega Game Gear's vibrant palette breathes new life into the game, making it surprisingly visually appealing given the device's limitations. All characters remain distinct and don't blend into the background. Now onto the roster, and Johnny Cage has made a triumphant return, while Kano has been banished to the farthest reaches of Outworld. Gameplay is manageable, though the frame rate suffers, which is forgivable considering the hardware. The addition of a dedicated start button makes blocking more straightforward, with punch, kick and block functions neatly assigned. Punches and kicks feel responsive, however executing special moves may require a slower input compared to the arcade or other home console versions. Sega's edgy attitude shines through, as they've included a code to enable blood and the original fatalities, adding a delightful layer of brutality. Unfortunately, the Game Gear version only offers 2 stages, Goro's Lair and the Pit, and much like the Game Boy version, the Pit fatality is nowhere to be found. Overall, it is a step up from the Game Boy port with vibrant colours and the inclusion of blood and fatalities. While it doesn't reach greatness, it lands solidly in the not good but not bad category. Now let's shift our gaze to Sega's 8-bit home console, the Master System. This Master System version is strikingly similar to the Game Gear rendition, or should we say the Game Gear is akin to the Master System version. The two share many similarities, with the exception of the Master System offering higher resolution, resulting in larger stages and smaller sprites. Once again, a blood code is included to unlock those glorious 8-bit fatalities. The roster mirrors the Game Gear version, with Kano not making the cut. However, let's get to the heart of the matter, gameplay. Unfortunately, it's not its strong suit. While it bears a resemblance to the Game Gear port, that's not necessarily a good thing. One would expect a slight advantage for a home console port, but the Master System falls short. The Master System's controller, featuring possibly the worst D-pad in console history and only 2 buttons, poses a real challenge for executing moves and fatalities. Both punch and block share button 1, while kick resides on button 2. The result? Frustration, as attempting an uppercut may lead to an unintended block. Executing Scorpion Spear is equally vexing, requiring precise timing to avoid accidental blocks. Controls feel slightly less responsive compared to the Game Gear counterpart, making certain fatalities incredibly challenging. For instance, I struggled to perform Scorpion's Skull Flame fatality due to the absence of a dedicated block button. I found myself just jumping all the time. Like its Game Gear sibling, this port offers only 2 stages, the Pit and Goro's Lair, and regrettably omits the Pit fatality. Overall, I can honestly say that this is a turd that has stained my Mega SG with its god-awful controls, missing stages and blip-shitty music that cements this alongside the Game Boy version as pathetically pathetic. Now, let's double down on the bits and dive into Sega's 16-bit masterpiece, the Sega Mega Drive. The Sega Mega Drive version of the original Mortal Kombat holds a special place in many of our hearts. It outsold the Super Nintendo version by a margin of 4 to 1 thanks to the inclusion of the infamous ABACABB blood code. The entire cast graces this version, and whilst the sprites may lack the detail of the SNES edition, they still shine. Some stages appear a bit muddled, like the courtyard, but the Warrior Shrine maintains its visual glory. While some minor details differ from the arcade port, such as missing heads and bodies on spikes in the pit much like the Super Nintendo version, and Shang Tsung not turning his head toward the battle, these don't significantly impact the experience. All stages are present and the Mega Drive's signature sound enriches the game's atmosphere. However, the pit music has been altered and the victory jingles bear a unique twist, deviating from the arcade's faithful replication. Let's talk controls. Unless you possess a 6-button controller, playing Mortal Kombat on the Mega Drive can be frustrating with just 3 buttons to work with. High kick, low kick and both high and low punch share these 3 buttons. Throw, traditionally sharing the low punch button, has been remapped to the C button. Playing with a 6-button controller is a game changer for fighting games, so if you opt for the Mega Drive or Mega CD versions, it's the way to go. Controls are responsive, offering a smooth experience throughout. The endings, displayed as still images with accompanying text, are an improvement over the Super Nintendo version. Overall, the Mega Drive version shines as a superb and enjoyable port, earning its place in the outstanding category. Its snappy controls, inclusion of blood and gore, and the iconic Mega Drive sounds elevate it to greatness. Now, let's switch gears and explore the upgraded Mega CD version. The Mega CD version shares many similarities with its Mega Drive counterpart in terms of character sprites and backgrounds. However, a few stage details have been enhanced. Heads and bodies now adorn the spikes in the pit, and Shang Tsung turns his head to face the combatants. The main differences lie in the CD quality arcade music and voiceovers, delivering a more authentic arcade experience. All announcements, including those for flawless victories and fatalities, have been restored.
Sonya wins. Fatality.
Minor changes such as displaying names in the health bars and using a different font for the timer and scores add a touch of polish. However, there's a quirk in the music arrangement. Some tracks are mismatched to their corresponding stages. The Palace Gates has Goro's Lair's music, and the Warrior Shrine and Goro's Lair has the Courtyard music. DJ Sung got them tracks on shuffle, boy! But despite these minor setbacks, much like its Mega Drive counterpart, the Mega CD version stands as a great port. If you have the means to play it, it's definitely worth your time. So alongside the Mega Drive version, we place the Mega CD edition in the outstanding category. Now let's transition from compact disc to floppy disk as we explore the Amiga A500 version. Now firstly, I must clarify that I played this on the Amiga A500 Mini, so it's technically emulated. While I can't provide a comparison to real Amiga hardware, I'll share my experience. Upon starting the game, I was pleasantly surprised by the music, a decent rendition that pays homage to the Amiga's history of excellent soundtracks. Character profiles boast clear picture quality, even featuring a sharp shot of Goro with his bio. However, the music goes MIA on the character select screen, a quirk that persists whether playing on emulation or actual hardware. Then comes the ladder. What happened to the music? The start got me pumped and this just gets me limp. I don't get it, we were off to a good start. No matter, let's check out the stage music. You have got to be kidding me. Not this track again. The same track that plagues the Game Boy version. What is it with this one track? Okay, so they may not have included the right track for the courtyard, but what about the palace gates? For fuck's sake, please don't tell me this game has this one track throughout the entire game. Surely not. They wouldn't do that, would they? Oh, but they would. This is literally the only piece of music you are going to hear when playing this game. It plays all the way through, from one-on-ones to Endurance to Goro to Shang Tsung, even through to the ending and the credits. And this is such a shame, because graphically this game looks really good. The sprites and backgrounds are detailed enough, comparable to the Mega Drive version in fact, and all the voice samples are here too, but that damn music, why? Look, let's move on to the controls and here the Amiga's limitations shine through, featuring only a 2-button controller. As far as I know, there's no way to use a 6-button controller, complicating an already convoluted control scheme. High punch requires pressing button 1 twice quickly, while forward and button 1 execute a low punch. Forward and button 2 initiate a low kick, and button 2 alone serves as a high kick. It's a mess.
Fatality.
However, despite these issues, the game still plays decently, with responsive controls and smooth gameplay. However, the lack of precise controls is a significant drawback. The endings, displayed as detailed images, are a redeeming feature, although that fucking music! In summary, the Amiga A500 version is decent, held back primarily by its limited controls and that one irritating music track. Nevertheless, marred by only these limitations, it's certainly worth a play. Finally, let's venture into the world of PCs and explore the PC port. I had never played a PC version of any Mortal Kombat before making this video. In the early 90s, PCs were often seen as lagging behind consoles in terms of gaming quality, with the exception for groundbreaking titles like Doom. But it was my impression that a game such as Mortal Kombat just wouldn't have the same console smooth look and feel and would have a hard time replicating the arcade. I could not have been more wrong. If I had walked into a room quickly and saw someone playing Mortal Kombat on PC, I would have easily mistaken it for MAME emulation. This game is as close to the arcades as you are going to find. Everything in this PC port is a stunning replica of the arcade. The sprites are impeccable, the music is of CD quality arcade perfection, and all the sounds, samples and blood are faithfully preserved. It's nearly indistinguishable from the original arcade version. A minor inconvenience I encountered was the need for Joy to Key, a tool to map keyboard commands to a game controller. Once that was sorted, playing the game was an absolute joy. I had a blast with this port, more so than any other version I played. While I'm not professional, there may be some minor differences discernible to some. Still, from a personal standpoint, this PC version is almost arcade perfect. It's hard to find flaws worth mentioning. You can even toggle certain switches such as free play, giving you full control over the experience. In conclusion, the PC version is simply flawless and sets the bar impossibly high. As a result, and as you may have guessed, it stands as the undisputed king of Portal Kombat. So where does that place Mortal Kombat within the king of Mortal Kombat tiers? Where else? It is our current king, but it can be knocked off. I'm just not entirely sure its sequel can surpass that of the original, right? Join us in the next spine-ripping, bone-crunching, body-impaling episode of King of Mortal Kombat as we dive deeper into the world of Mortal Kombat. Thanks for watching, combatants.